Is the sheep preaching hate when it says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop him. Do whatever you have to do to stop him. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate. He's violent.
In this thing, okay? Because we got a hell of a show to go ahead and go over here today. And honestly, this is going to be something definitely for the record books, y'all. Something definitely for the record books. So my thing is this, y'all. When we're thinking about this topic, okay, we're thinking about the masculinity complex, right? The patriarchy. The one thing that's been used time after time after time in order for men to be sucked into this particular cult, this cult ministry, for them to be sucked in. Hold on a second. All right. Thank you. So while we're doing this thing, right, and then they're using the patriarchy doctrine, the false doctrine of patriarchy, playing on men's ego, right? Playing on their ego, their pride, whatever it may be. They are doing so. Oh, bless you, Pastor Rufus. Welcome in. The Honorable Pastor Rufus in the house. Bless you. Shalom, shalom. I think I skipped you. Bless you. Good to see you in this thing. Hallelujah. All right. So, yeah. So the patriarchy, patriarchal doctrine that's been pushed, that's been used for decades now, right? By Charles Dowell Jr. that has been twisted. These scriptures have been twisted. This doctrine has been twisted. It has been used to manipulate men, right? Turning them into cold, unloving figures in their homes. You understand what I'm saying? But using these men as tools, as pawns to be able to control the women is exactly what they want to do. They want the men to wash their own family's mind into believing the rhetoric, into submitting to whatever doctrine that Straitway is looking to push. What in the world? So yeah, sorry, my power just clicked a bit. Which is odd. All right, let's get back to it. So this is what they're doing, right? Now, they poison the families, okay? They poison the families, making wives and children feel like enemies instead of the blessings of the Most High Yah. Whatever blessings Yah intended, okay? This is what they're currently doing. All right. Now, this has been going on for quite some time now. We got to understand the level of that, what is truly being affected here. Using the same sort of situation or doctrine to really entice these men to commit to the ministry and commit, even leave their own families for this ministry. You understand what I'm telling you, right? Now, this tactic has been used by many cult leaders, not just Dowell. You understand what I'm saying? Many cult leaders have used this tactic to tell men and to tell them to the patriarchy type of complex, the patriarchy doctrine, okay? That cult leaders know that men naturally desire respect, legacy, and order in their homes. You understand what I'm saying? They naturally just want this. This is what they seek naturally. Now, to play on that natural desire to receive these things in their home is what they typically do, but it transformed these men, right? So what do these men start to do? They preach, they rap, right? And they a version of patriarchy that appeals to the ego, to the minds, to the pride, to whatever it may be with these men. And then they compound, they light that joint on fire and they throw gasoline on it. By the time you make it in, if you're having conflict with your wife currently and she's cooking and kicking and bucking against the rule of Dowell, then they encourage you. They pump you up. They gas you up into believing that this is the will of the Most High. This is the will of the Father. Then they show you scriptures like, if you do not forsake all, if you do not forsake houses, if you do not forsake, children, all these other things is what they introduce to you. Another scripture, right? And follow Yeshua, then you're not of Yeshua. just to solidify your emotions. Then they show you various different scriptures as to how these women are wicked. And they'll tell you things like, well, women are wicked. Look at how many times the Bible says that the women is wicked. How many times does it say that the man is wicked? You'll hear this all too often. You'll hear this rhetoric time after time after time, repeatedly. You understand what I'm saying? Time after time. Then they'll go and they'll start to put you against natural family, right? Natural family that's not trying to be contentious, that's not trying to be in opposition, but they'll put you against natural family members that just are looking out for your best interests, who have questions, general questions, to be able to help you through your process of learning when it comes to this newfound religion or this newfound faith. These people are not really giving you a whole lot of issues and problems. They just really are concerned that you may be following some sort of Jim Jones or some sort of R.G. Stare type of figure. And they're just asking questions. All while the same man, the same person, this so-called preacher, the so-called pastor is telling you to separate from them, right? As the scriptures say, come out from among them, be ye separate. Thus saith who? The Most High Yah. But did Yah tell you to separate from these individuals? Or did Dowell tell you this? Which one told you to separate? Then he uses scriptures from Yeshua saying that the man's own foes will be they of his own household, to solidify even more in your mind that your foes, that your enemies, okay, will be the ones of your own household. And then at this point, you have to make a conscious decision. Do I leave my family, the ones who I'm tasked to protect, to guide, to lead, or do I and go ahead and join one of these compounds, one of these communities, or do I stay? As you hear the voice of Dowell echo in your hallways, the hallways of your mind, in the chambers of your mind, trying to convince you to leave your family, that very family you have devoted yourself to guide, to lead, to provide for, all of these other things that you devoted yourself to do. All of a sudden now one man has brought you many different scriptures to convince you to divorce yourself from them. By the time you leave, you start to witness yourself devalued. You start to witness that you're being used for labor, physical labor, to donate to some of these compounds and communities. Not only are you being used to donate, right, as a single brother, to work tirelessly and to donate to these communities, right, for their advancement, but you have nothing to show for it. You're a modern day slave. You understand what I'm saying? The same type of slave that Moses went into Egypt to free. The same type of slave that was developed, right, in the diaspora of the international slave trade. The same type of slave that was sold into the system here in the U.S. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times for pennies on a dollar. You yourself, you get absolutely barely anything in regards to your servitude. So what do we say here? If you kick a fuss, if you raise a red flag, if you question anything that comes from Dowell, out of Dowell's mouth, even though he encourages you to investigate everything he says, he does not mean it wholeheartedly. He means it to deceive you, to make you feel like you can give him more trust than he's worthy of. And the moment you start to question his position is the moment he'll blast you openly, right? He'll blast you openly without any sort of warning. You won't even know why you're being exposed. You won't even know why he's subliminally targeting you, right? You don't even know why. It's just all these subliminals that come forth. You're being targeted. And guess what? Anybody who's heard your testimony now is side-eyeing you, looking at you crazy, almost as though that you've done something wrong for questioning a doctrine position, right? Which you're encouraged to do. This is your life as a single man, right? Who's being encouraged to be a patriarch of your own home, that lead a broken home, that leads to destruction. Yeah, look, check out the stories coming from your children in the near future. Yeah, my father, he left his family to join a cult. And this is exactly what it is. Now you're too prideful to admit it. Now you're too prideful to make a decision consciously to remove yourself from a cult-like environment, because guess what? You left your own family in order to join, and you don't want to be wrong about your decision that you've made. Pride sets in, ego sets in, all these different things set in and make you want to work harder to make it work. To say that all of these things you're witnessing that is wickedness, right? All of these things that have been coming out is not true. For some reason, at some point, you start to deny the very truth that you were searching for. The very truth that got you listening to Dowell in the first place, because you were looking and searching for truth. You start to ignore the signs. You start to ignore the idol worship. You start to ignore the man worship, the man pleasing, right? You start to ignore all these things in hopes you're just not wrong. In hopes that you're not wrong. And don't let you be somebody who comes into the ministry with a bit of clout, a bit of fame, a bit of notoriety, and some money in your pocket. Listen, he'll move you up the chain so quickly. He'll have you in positions of a leadership. He'll give you as much women as you want, right? That's readily available to you. In fact, he'll do so badly that he'll seek to drive a wedge between another man and his wife in order to provide more women for the men in the ministry. That's commodity. That is real what? Value. If he can drive a wedge between the women and their husbands, he can drive that wedge, take that woman and sell her off, not sell her off, pawn her off to another man in the ministry. As he stands there boastfully saying that he does not want anybody's sloppy seconds. Well, what is your second wife, Dowell? What is your second wife? Ain't that insulting to her? Didn't you insult Nellie when you said that you didn't want another man's sloppy seconds? How insulting is that? As you proceed to move forth and marry somebody else's, at that time, wife. I'm not going to call her that. I believe that, that would be very low of me. But why would you call your own second wife sloppy seconds? That's what's baffling to me. And then you're being hypocritical in saying it, right? All while trying your best to separate another man over in Australia from his wife and telling her and enticing her and trying to influence her like a serpent, right? Like the serpent beguiled Eve. You're doing it through what? Carol, who is operating like a madam, and recruiting these women into this ministry to get what? Supply and demand. Kabir wants to have 94 children. How is he going to be able to do that without the right incubators, right? Is what you guys consider them to be. They're not even worthy enough to be considered to be women or Ishas, really. You guys view them as incubators, something that can produce seed, right? And that's about it. That's their value. That's their worth. In fact, you encourage your men, right, through this patriarchal doctrine to view them only as such. You understand what I'm saying? Now, my thing is this. You're doing so in teaching them to view them this way based on what? On fear, on hatred, and not based on love, like the scriptures encourages us to do. It's not based on love, right? Now, he'll say things like this. You're the king. You're the priest. You're the ruler. Your word is law in your home. Your wife is beneath you and must obey without question. This sounds empowering, doesn't it, y'all? Doesn't it sound empowering, you men, so-called men? Doesn't that sound empowering? But what it really does is harden the man's heart. It cuts them off from feeling emotions, from the emotionality, right? And turns them, their families into subjects instead of partners, instead of somebody who is here to help build and grow. The scriptures teaches us something different. You understand what I'm saying? And everything that I just said, I can back this up with a testimony. Now, this testimony that came out, I was new, fresh. I believe it was around the time, it was probably my second or third year a part of Straitway. And so when this testimony dropped and it hit, I was extremely confused as to why he was saying the things that he was saying. In fact, I understand even more so now that I'm on the other end of on the opposite side of the fence. Now I get a clear picture painted for me as to why he came out and made this testimony. This is an oldie, but still a goodie. It's an original. Shout out to Brian Howard. Let's go ahead and take a look at what he had to say in regards to the ministry back then, and which was ignored by the vast majority of individuals, including leadership and brethren. We got to rehash some of these things to understand, like, listen, people have been sounding the alarm for quite some time, and we have not been able to slow down enough, to love bomb enough, to remove ourselves enough to really hear the truth. Let's get to it, y'all.
Brothers, it is with much thought and prayer to y'all that I come to you today with this message. I'm going to read this so I don't mess up my words. You need to hear this directly from me, face to face, or at least here on Marco Polo, so that my words, actions, and work won't be taken out of context, distorted, or covered up. I'm a man and my last name is Howard. It's not Coward. I can no longer be part of Straitway. There are too many underhanded and dishonest tactics taking place upon a people for me to remain silent. When I came into Straitway, at first it was very inviting because of you brothers. You are beautiful. Y'all had stirred me again, this time through the history of his people, the fact that their true identity had been hidden by the beast system. That was the draw. After listening and observing many things, y'all's ruach began to tug at me, and I know it has been tugging at many of you. I was confused at first because I did not want this to turn out like the rest of the worldly ministries that we have already been a witness to. The problem was me. I was not listening to what y'all was putting in front of me. I was caught up in emotions and charismatic theatrics that are supported by a crafty system that mirrors the playbook of the apostolic, Pentecostal, Christian, pagan cult religion, merely dressed up as Hebrew Israel. All the while closely following the doctrines and traditions of the very pagan cult system that y'all had delivered me and my family from, simply minus the obvious pagan holidays. If you're given information at different levels based on what you contribute in money, you have a problem. This is not the Father's will. The Freemason pagan churches do this exact same thing. If you're pressured to give tithes because of social pressure by the heads of assemblies, all the while the public and unseen are given the message that a bowl is not passed around on Shabbat, you have a problem. If you can't bring serious scriptural questions to the table without being passively, aggressively attacked on multiple platforms by the leader, all the while never being directly named, you have a problem. That is an abomination to misuse the platform for personal and uneducated attacks. If you're told that nobody else but the leader and a handful of his appointees have discernment, or you're not going to bring anything to the table that they don't already know, etc., you have a problem. Where is the humility and where is the humbleness? If you're pressured to sign over your property, earnings, retirement income, or anything else for that matter to a worldly ministry and into a trust of any kind so that the leader can control you financially, you have a problem. This is not scriptural, and don't let your ears be tickled. It is disgusting to see this happen, not only against me, but many others in the past. So pay attention in the future, brothers. Y'all has nothing to do with this behavior. It is wicked. Many of you will view this and do exactly what has already been shown to me, and that's okay. If you have ever spent any real time with me, you know just who I am and what the truth about me is. Nothing but love, but with a firm hand and zero patience for games and misdirection. Charles Dowell, I bring no false witness against you. Your own mouth has already convicted you. Your understanding of this beast system and the contract with the devil is severely lacking. This is not by mistake. It is because you enjoy the adversary benefits. You can yell, scream, and attempt to intimidate others all you want. Have at it. It's your modus operandi. That has become apparent to the point that it's as predictable as the next page in a child's book. If you have a problem with me, be a man and say it to my face instead of using pathetic tactics. You demonstrate extreme narcissism, hypocrisy in the highest form, doublespeak, and probably the most prideful and boastful spirit I have ever come across in this walk. There, I said it from my own lips, face to face, and in front of all the brothers, so that there can be no doubt and misdirection. Oh yes, I already know what your response will be. Who, me? What did I do? I don't know what he's talking about. Get real, as Yah's my witness. If you so much as slander or libel me in any way, you will be undressed publicly for all to see. And you know that I'm more than capable, so tread lightly. To you brothers, know this. I love Yah more than I love you, but I do love you, and that's why this message is going out. You will be told what to do, how to do it, and on and on and on. I will be labeled this, that, and the other, but that's okay. Consider the source and the agenda. Cui bono, who benefits? Guard yourself. Do not fall into the trap of idolatry and the traditions that are from the pagan cult church system. Cover your ears from blasphemy and worship no man. My salvation in relationship with the Most High Yah does not depend on Straitway, and neither does yours. Yah is my salvation and only Yah. Only in truth, Brother Brian.
All right, y'all. Listen, as you can hear, Brother Brian, listen, kicking his shit, doing his thing. You understand what I'm saying? Now, my thing is this, right? I hope y'all listening now, because we wouldn't listen then. I'm included in that. You understand what I'm saying? We wouldn't listen then, but I hope you all are listening now. I hope you're listening now. As he says that Dowell will be publicly undressed, I believe that undressing is taking place, and it continues to take place. So no matter what, you know, Brian, listen, we've taken up that mantle, and we're going to do a public undressing of Straitway, period. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's only the right thing to do from people who have fallen at the hands of wickedness, unrighteousness. Listen, and they refuse to acknowledge it. My thing is this, right? I'm gonna say it one more time, reiterate this. I do 5, 6, 7, sometimes hours of video of streaming. You understand what I'm saying? Not to just talk about this wicked deceiver who will not repent, who goes unrepented, continues to be unrepented, and who cares at this point? We just want the people to be set free. Let the people go, Dow. We know you're not going to repent.
And I would never repent. Never repent. Never repent.
Destruction is upon your house. It is what it is. The judgment is at the doors. In fact, it's practically kicking it in. You already know what it is. And the very same rhetoric you spew is the same thing that will come upon your house. The same measure you met on others. Listen, the measure is being met back on you. And can you handle it? That's the question. You understand what I'm saying? Can you handle it? I believe a lot of you know and have witnessed the level of, I guess, incapability of handling the pressure that Dow is under. You understand what I'm saying? To result to tactics of saying like, oh, you don't care about my issues. You don't care about my, listen, I could care less about any of that. I care about the souls you wish to entrap in your ministry and to make them absolute slaves. We have already literally exposed you, exposed your ministry, exposed your leadership for mocking up falsified documents to enslave, to entrap, to entice, anything, everything. All of the above when it comes to these people. We've exposed at least a paragraph of that in which you looking to entrap men and women in these agreements, these demonic agreements. They're practically selling their souls to your ministry. Then you honor the Most High Yah with your lips, but your heart is far from him, because his wishes is not for his people to be enslaved, in captivity, for you to drain their pockets and all of their worth and their value to be depreciated as you're there. What was this saying? Of course, that once people join these particular this particular ministry and they get on a community, the leadership, they increase in their wealth. But the individuals, the people, the saints, they decrease in their value, they decrease in their wealth, and they leave with nothing to show for it if they must depart. Then you force them into a contractual agreement for an NDA. What does a man who claims to have his life on display, what does he need with an NDA? What does a man need with an NDA to say that he's a man of truth, to say that his ministry is called Straitway Truth Ministries? Why would you need an NDA, Dowell, if you're Straitway Truth Ministries? That means that you will not duck smoke and you will stand on truth, on facts, on all of those things. But guess what? We continue to find a hypocrite. We continue to find hypocrisy. And we continue to find people in leadership, right, who's over there being gobblers and gumpies, right, for his position, to try to do whatever they can to support Daddy Dowell.
Nigga, I'm Mike, you lying ass nigga.
Gobblers and gumpies who will not question the narrative, won't question anything, but in fact, they'll come out and make live stream videos and trying to discourage you from watching the truth. You understand what I'm saying? The truth doesn't need any defense, right? The truth doesn't need any defense. If you are standing on truth, you wouldn't need to do a PR campaign. If you are standing on truth or a man of truth, guess what? You wouldn't need to clean up your image in the public. You wouldn't have to put out pointless and meritless videos in order to try to discredit the truth that we're putting out and presenting. Listen, you would provide facts, tangible proof and evidence. If you hear something, you would actually say something with every receipt that you got. If you know that your ministry is being affected, if you know your bottom dollar is on the line, Dowell, you've done it for less before. I promise you. You presented falsified evidence for less. Now that the truth is coming out and people are telling their testimonies, right? And you're getting hit left and right. All of a sudden now, those same receipts that you used to just try to lambaste people with are null and void. They don't even show up anymore. Now, all of a sudden, you can't even tell your truth publicly for all to hear. For some reason now, you got to put the truth behind a paywall. You understand what I'm saying? For some reason now, you're ducking and you're hiding and you're running from the smoke. Listen, I'm bringing it, though. We're bringing it over here. We're bringing the smoke. Everything about your life is in question. Because once you find so many lies being unsurfaced, right? Shout out to my brother Odell, who honestly has done a lot of great research in the backgrounds, and we just reported here and exposed the truth of it, right? But every aspect of your life, all the things that you do is in question. We got Elder Chris Paul, who put out a text message thread, and this man's trying to coerce, trying to manipulate the truth, and trying to get Brother Ray to sign a non-disclosure in order to receive a sum of $8,000 or something like that. But in his integrity, Brother Ray stood on truth, and he walked out of there with his family and half his paycheck. Bless him. Bless him for standing with Yah, standing with truth, and not signing an NDA. Hopefully we'll get a testimony to come out. But also, not only that, he didn't just spark up a GoFundMe, right, for him and his family and grift the people after signing an NDA, a non-disclosure. So shout out to that brother. He's always been a brother who's been on truth, and it seemed like he had a lot of strength in him. So Brother Ray, bless you. My thing is this, y'all, is that as we continue to pull back these layers, listen, they try to do so much to save face. Honestly, they just recently did a giving back to their communities. Can you believe it? I got some really exclusive video of them actually giving back to the communities now. They're trying to now clean up the look, the reputation and things. Listen, y'all, drop some sheep in the chat if y'all ready to see this this exclusive of Straitway cleaning up and trying to give back to the communities. You understand what I'm saying? Drop some sheep in the chat. I'll wait, man. Because this is crazy now. The PR is crazy. The trying to save face is crazy. The level of deception, right? To keep people in the shadows rather than bringing them into the light is crazy. They'll go to these great lengths in order to deceive the people. Can you believe it? Listen, y'all not gonna believe this. They're going through great lengths in order to deceive, to be deceptive. Man, we got rams, we got sheep in the chat, man. Shout out to all of my fellow sheep, my fellow rams. You understand what I mean? Shout out to all of my sheep in the Most High. You understand what I mean? All right, let's go ahead. What in the world? Oh my gosh. All right. Let's go ahead and drop this thing. My bad, y'all. I'm having some issues with like my electricity is acting weird. All right, let's go ahead and drop this thing, y'all. We got the Rams and we got the sheep in the chat. Let's get it.
A number between 1 and 10.
Oh, one sec. Gotta remove this.
Also pick a number between 1 and 10.
5.
A 5? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. Here you go. There's 5 brooms for you.
I can't take it.
No, you're too kind. We're making a video. We're giving back to the community, spreading some kindness.
Oh,
Here you go. There you go. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Wow.
Ain't that cute? Giving back to the community. Finally. Finally giving back to the community, y'all. Giving back. Because they work so hard, y'all. They always constantly working. They always working. They constantly working over there, y'all. That's all they know is work, 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 work. Oh, I'm too busy working. That's the only thing they got to say every stream. It's like they're a broken record now. There's so much truth that comes out that they can't debunk or say nothing against anything. Only thing they can say is, well, I'm too busy working. You know, I can't do no live stream for no, you just don't have the endurance. You're too busy working to grift the people. You're too busy working to set the people up for another trap. You're too busy working to lie, to steal, to cheat, and to steal. This is the reason why you're so busy working. You're building up your infrastructure so you can be able to deceive many, and many more will be deceived. This is why you're so busy. Oh, I'm so busy working. We too busy working. Yeah, to deceive the people. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm glad y'all decided to give back, though, this time.
Also pick a number between 1 and 10.
5.
A 5? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. Here you go. There's 5 brooms for you.
I can't take it.
No, you're too kind. We're making a video. We're giving back to the community, spreading some kindness.
Oh,
Here you go. There you go. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Wow.
Woo! Giving back to the community. Straitway Truth Ministries, spreading some kindness and giving back to the community, y'all. How beautiful is that? Yeah, they so busy working, though. My thing is this, right? All of this work, right, and no play makes Charlie a dull boy. You understand what I'm saying? All of this work, putting in all of this work to build up your infrastructure so you can continue to deceive many. Look at all of what I got, is what he says. This is the rhetoric he spews. Look at what I got. Look at my compound. Look at this. Look at that. And he applies that to being fruit. He says that is real fruit. He says that whatever he's producing is real fruit. Whatever he's building is actual fruit. Last time I checked, the fruit that the Bible is speaking of is the fruit of the Spirit, not the fruit of your labor, right? Yeah, Yah will bless you, right? Based on the fruit of your labor, but you're not weighed by the fruit of your labor. You're not being held in a certain light, right? Character-wise. We can't measure that. We can't, it's unmeasurable. If we can use Yeshua or Jesus as a measuring stick, building on land would not be a part of that measuring stick. We couldn't say that Yeshua built houses and homes on property, on lands, and started his own community of people. He went out and went from one city to the next. So we wouldn't be able to, it's immeasurable. It's immeasurable. But now, if we were to use that same measuring tool and say, hey, we're going to, use that measuring tool for Satan. We're going to say Satan is the measuring tool for wicked people who want to deceive others, right? Based on what stuff they have. Well, I remember an account that took place with Yeshua. He was brought out to the wilderness. And Satan said that I will give you all the kingdoms of this earth. I'll give you all the kingdoms of this earth if you but bow down and you serve me. Now, the people who are in charge of those kingdoms is who the Satan owned. He owned the people that were in charge. You understand what I'm saying? That's why he had the capability of giving that away. That is very materialistic, is it not? Ain't Satan being materialistic when he says that he has all the kingdoms on this earth and he can give it to Yeshua, give it to Jesus if you but bow down and serve, right? Well, let's model that after the leadership of Straitway. If you become a pastor, an elder, a deacon, if you got money, if you got status, if you got the elitist mindset of wanting to grift and enslave the people, guess what? You will get all of the things that Dowell can provide to you. You'll get money, you'll get power, you'll get status, you'll get all these different things that he can provide to you at will. If you want to have 94 children, right? And if you want to be laid up as some sugar daddy, sugar baby, ain't that crazy? How crazy is that? How can you ever hold a title of sugar daddy and sugar baby all in one? Can anybody answer that question for me? How do we have a sugar daddy and a sugar baby all at one, right? All in one package. How can you even fulfill both roles, right? I mean, literally, right? How can you fulfill both roles of sugar daddy and sugar baby? You understand what I'm saying? As we know, Kabir Bajabir Miller loves him some Dowell. You understand what I'm saying?
I just want to let Pastor Pat, I love you. You gave me life. You gave me life.
In which, of course, we know that he's built him on tune of a $2.5 million home just now. This is all based on what Kabir's effort is in sending other men that was a part of his community up there in Straitway slave land, right? Send them down to Dowell to help him with his help him build this mansion that he's building on that property. Now, Kabir is the one who's funding this particular home. He's bought the elevator. He's bought him the flooring, right? Which he's got marble floors all throughout the thing. Listen, I'm not hating, y'all. Don't think that I'm a hater, okay? Don't think that I'm hating, okay? Don't think that I'm hating, y'all. I promise you I'm not. But honestly, get it how you live. You feel me? And if it ain't tricking if you got it. You know what I mean? It just ain't. It ain't tricking if you got it, right? But, you got a sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship between Dowell and Kabir. This is just kind of what it is. You know what I mean? I wasn't the one who asked for them to do it. In fact, one of the requirements is for Dowell to get in his skivvies, to get in his underwear, his tighty whities whenever Kabir comes around. You know what I mean? And they kind of justify with the man jokingly to kind of penetrate your mind and thinking that this is okay behavior, right? Like this is okay behavior. Like I've never even gotten naked in a locker room, let alone in the privacy, right? With another man, right? With another brother. You understand what I'm saying? But for some reason, he wants to try to train the men into believing that there's nothing wrong with Dowell and Kabir having a one-on-one session in their tighty whities.
They come out. Sometimes if it's a man, you may even see me in my underwear. It's a man, you may even see me in my underwear. If it's a man, you may even see me in my underwear.
In the nude. Bucket naked. Wasn't no shame in them walking around bucket naked.
Because you're a man.
Because you're a man, that's what he says. This is the reason why you might even see me in my underwear. But yeah, he still throws around accusations of LGBTQ, you know, on myself and other people who disagree with his position. He says that we must be gay. You know what I mean? If I'm gay, then yeah. Then what is that, Dow? I mean, honestly, can we be honest? Can we be realistic as to why we feel like that's okay? You know, of course, he's plastered. A drunk man tells no tales, right? A drunk man tells no tales, y'all. They tell no tales. My thing is this, right? This is the patriarchy that he's looking to push off on you. A patriarchy that says that it's okay for you to get bucket naked in front of another man. It's okay to get in your tidy whities and your skivvies, you know, if you got your sugar baby or sugar daddy in your presence and you missed, it's all right. It just builds on the intimacy, especially if they feel like they want to be like Mother Carol in the back. You understand what I'm saying? My thing is this, right? It's easy to make that choice and decision. And I don't knock you for it. I'm not homophobic. Like Dow, if that's the type of stuff you enjoy, I'm not going to sit here and be the one to judge you based on that. You know, that's for y'all to judge. That's for the Father to judge. You know, if you feel like this is fine, right? You feel like this is okay behavior. Listen, let them judge you for it. But me personally, I choose not to. I think that's definitely a line, that a boundary that will not be crossed. You understand what I'm saying? I played football for quite some time too, and never did I get down butt naked, right? Bucket naked, and jump in the shower in the locker room. You understand? I'm headed to the house. You get me? I ain't trying to see a bunch of swinging shafts all over the place. I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'm gonna head to the crib. You get what I'm saying? But apparently Dow, he doesn't mind the bulge. Dow don't mind the bulge. A little bit of bulge don't hurt nobody, according to Dow. You get what I'm saying? A little bit of bulge, it don't hurt nobody. You get what I'm saying? It's all good. You know? I mean, let's be honest, right? You know, now this is some information we're gonna go over again. You know, but my thing is this. Let's be honest. You know, your second Isha, okay, and I'm gonna try to be as respectful with this as possible, okay. She was into voyeurism, okay. He heard about their escapades, him and her and Eric, and we all know this story, right? He heard about their escapades, and honestly, that really that really interests Dow, you know, at the time. So let's just keep it there. That really interests Dow at the time, obviously, right? Well, she's his second Isha now. She's his second wife now. You know, the voyeurism really turned him on. You know what I'm saying? So a little bit of bulge, I guess, he believes it really don't hurt nobody. So let's just keep it real. This is the level of patriarchy he's looking to pawn off on you, all while having you take this position of no love, of no remorse, of no compassion. And this is the ultimate outcome. I don't care who you are. I promise you, you're going to make society your enemy, the male chauvinistic pig that they label you as, if you wish to rule your home with love, right? If you wish to be that patriarch in your home with love, right? My thing is this, right? You'll be labeled that, and you'll weaponize that, right? As Dallas weaponizing it with you, you'll weaponize that on your own family. It'll make you cold. It'll make you rule your home with an iron fist and no love, completely cold-hearted. You know, I believe that Ephesians 5:25 speaks directly against this, especially when it comes to your wife. We all know that women can do certain things. Now, you being able to be wise enough to resist that so the devil can flee, right, would be probably one of the best things to do. Sometimes, you know, you might lose your temper, you might lose your cool a bit, but honestly, ultimately, it's up to you to get yourself back under self-control, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Ephesians 5:25. Oh, Ephesians 5:25 real quick, since, you know, scriptures wise. We're going to get into a little bit of scripture real quick. And we got a little bit more we need to go over. So this is the reason why it takes us a while. We got to peel back the layers of the truth, y'all. And then plus we like to listen, there's two different ways we can do this on the flocks, like two different ways. We can do it in a way as to where we do it, just the right way. And we can do it real quick, whatever. We can give us simple answers. We can go out here and give you guys about an hour, 2 hours of the time and just say, oh, screw it, whatever. You know what I mean? And kind of move real sloppy in presenting ourselves to the public, right? Because we know for a fact, the shorter the videos are, the less opportunity for a slip up or a mistake to be able to surface itself. In fact, we don't have the endurance to be able to encourage the people for longer than an hour and a half, but because we got so much work to do. Oh, got work, macho man stuff, and all of them are a bunch of liars. I mean, come on now. Yeah, listen, there's 24 hours in a day. I will be glad to take 7 hours out of my 24 hours to whoop y'all ass on a weekly basis, once a week, 3 times a week if I got to, 5 times a week if I got to. I'll be more than happy to take 7 hours out of my 24 hours in a day to stump y'all out for a minute. You understand what I'm saying? But y'all too busy working. Work. While you're watching all of my 7-hour videos, while you're watching all of my live streams, while you're getting all the little nuggets you need to get out of it, me kicking your teeth in, other people, guests joining me, telling their testimonies, kicking your teeth in. Y'all, listen, y'all can't fake the funk. You can't fool me. You can't fool the audience. You can't fool the people. Come on now. Let's continue. Let's be men who stand on real truth. You enjoy the show. You enjoy laughing. Just say you enjoy laughing at yourself. I enjoy laughing at me. When you guys put up pictures and photos of me looking like a hog, you think that I care. You think that I lose an ounce of sleep. Do you think that I'm pacing the floor back and forth? Do you think I'm swinging and trying to punch the air? What do you think that I'm doing? You understand what I'm saying? Do you think that influences me? But meanwhile, we have Dowell doing things like this after one of my live streams.
So tired of this shit. Stupid mother. Fuck you. Tired of this shit. Don't let me kill all you. Come on, I mean,
He tuned into the whole 7 hours, y'all. Punch in the air. Yeah. Bro, it doesn't bother me, yo. It's funny. Like, listen, yeah, I got a sense of humor, yo. Like, but this is a sexy looking hog. I mean, I promise you. Maybe you should make it look uglier next time. Maybe then you might get a bit of a flinch from me if you make the hog look a bit uglier. Maybe drooling from the mouth, a bit of foam or some sort of pus coming out of the mouth or something like that. But that was a sexy hog that they created. I should probably show y'all, huh? Yeah, why the hell not? I'll show you. This is a pretty funny one. I thought it was dope. I actually screen grabbed it because I thought I was just going to use it. You know how I like to do. All their little jokes, I like to display them on my podcast because honestly, I have fun with them. I think that it's a good time. But it's all a good time because laughter is the best route to peace. You understand what I'm saying? Laughter is the yes, bro. The boys in the hood. Yes, bro. Laughter is the best way to peace. You understand what I'm saying? Laughter is the best route to healing. Laughter is the best route to growth. You understand what I'm saying? If you can get a good laugh in, then maybe your reality, maybe your circumstances will be even less of a burden, bitterness, all of that other stuff. Honestly, putting on the garments of praise, of laughter, of joy. That's what you got to do in these types of situations. Look at that. Y'all see, look, that's a sexy hog, yo. Your boy. Excuse me, I'm all in y'all ear. Your boy. So that was the hog they created, y'all. Look at him. Ain't he handsome? That's a handsome hog. Yeah. He looked like he about ready to sing a country song. Better lock them doors and tell them lies down low. Listen, that's a sexy hog. Now, I mean, bless y'all. I laughed when I saw that. Just like some of these clips I like to use a Dowell. Like, listen, he had me rolling. Especially when he did the Dowell situation, man. Listen, he had me rolling. He was talking trash. And listen, I got a sense of humor. You understand what I'm saying? Like it might be an odd sense of humor, but I'm not too much of a whatever to not find humor in myself and to be able to laugh at me, you know, whenever you're talking trash. So just know what type of mindset that I have. Like, bring it, you know what I mean? Like, you know, don't hold back. I mean, please, you know. And if you guys can take a look, right? You take a look over there and you take a look at they're trying to step their game up, right? A little bit, just a wee bit on their production. You know, the Biscuit, Michael Israel, right? The Biscuit is what I like to call him because his channel's so damn dry now, it don't even make any sense. You understand what I'm saying? So the Biscuit is what I came up with because half the time nobody wants to eat that dry ass biscuit. You might have a few people who might like it, but then you got to smother it in honey in order for it to be somewhat enjoyable. You understand what I'm saying? Like, come on, let's be honest, yo. You stop by one of these places and you go get yourself a biscuit. A lot of y'all ain't excited about the damn biscuit, okay? Nobody's excited about it. I mean, yeah, you eat it, but like you're not motivated to take it. You know, it just comes for free. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's a biscuit. It is what it is. Like he took some time off his channel. Daddy Dowell said, go on, sit down for 5 years, Biscuit. Go on, sit down for 5 years. And you're not going to be able to do another YouTube video, right? You can't make another appearance on Facebook. Just sit down because Daddy Dowell says so. You understand what I'm saying? And so the Biscuit, Michael Israel, proceeded to listen. Oh, I'm going to be obedient to the man of Yah, blah, and he sat down, right, for 5 years. And all his following, right, was so upset about this, right? A majority of them never returned. In fact, the Biscuit, his whole channel, the Spiritual Combat, man, that Spiritual Combat platform was booming before Dowell. Before Dowell, the Spiritual Combat platform was doing pretty well. But the moment that Dowell told him to pipe down and he went ahead and, oh, yes, sir, you know what I mean? He went ahead and made himself a little gumpy is the moment his whole channel started to suffer. Now nobody wants to hear anything he has to say at all. I mean, he has some really insightful things. Like I would go on there and listen to a couple of his videos and listen, he would be pouring out some real knowledge. Now it's just like dry. It's just a biscuit. You know what I mean? He's just now a gumpy.
What's your sole purpose in this army?
To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant.
God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius. That's the most outstanding answer I've ever heard. You must have a goddamn IQ.
You must have an IQ of 160. So he's a gumpy now. He actually took Michael Israel, the Biscuit, okay? Unbuttered Biscuit, I'm seeing in the chat. I second that. I touch and agree. The unbuttered biscuit. Okay. Bless y'all. The unbuttered biscuit. He's, you know, the Michael Israel and utilized his talents to build up his own platform. A lot of what goes on in the inner workings, the details of what's happening with his platform. The YouTuber, Charles Dowell Jr., has suppressed the Biscuit, you know, Michael Israel, and utilized his talents, stole his talents. Like this dude was like basically like, what's that one character from The Little Mermaid? Damn, it was stealing a voice and everything. Listen, Dowell stole this man's talents and used it for his own platform to build himself up. That's why he wanted 5 years with Michael Israel. And if he would submit and listen, guess what? He was going to siphon every bit of his knowledge to build up his own platform right there on the Pastor Dowell channel. You understand what I'm saying? And that's exactly effectively what he did. In fact, Michael Israel controls everything that goes on with the media for the most part. Okay, there's a tech team that doesn't really tech well, right? They don't really tech well, but they are a tech team. You understand what I'm saying? You got the guy up in Canada who made an AI video, but that's about as far as you get, right? And you can barely really keep up with basic editing. You understand what I'm saying? Like my skills, I got basic editing skills. You understand what I mean? And you got a whole tech team, a team of guys who could literally launch a full frontal attack and assault on YouTube and do as much tech as possible, right? And you can't even utilize anything because they have no talent. They have no skill. I have more skill in my finger than they have on Straitway's tech team. You understand what I'm saying? I'm more talented than every single individual, right? And it's only the Father who blessed me with the skills, right? That's all I'm saying. You have a whole team, a whole tech team that does not tech well. You understand what I mean? You just don't tech well. You guys are trash, absolute trash. Oh, we're supposed to get in these scriptures. Ephesians 5:25. Excuse me, y'all. My apologies. Right? It's Ephesians 5:25. Right? Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. You understand what I'm saying? My thing is this, right? How did Christ, how did Yeshua, how did he deal with his disciples? Did he tell them to pipe down, to shut up? Oh, shut up, disciples. Y'all don't know nothing. Like, how did he treat them? Did he treat the disciples, right, who acted as his partners while he was spreading the gospel? You understand what I mean? Did he treat them like they were subservient? Did he treat them like servants? Did he treat them like they were the ones who were inferior? Or did he treat them as superior? As not as superior, but as equals? What did he do really? Right? What did he actually do? We can actually find an account of this. You understand what I'm saying? We know for sure the scriptures tell us this very thing, that of course he encouraged them to be as equals, right? As the master, right? That we're equal, that those who are in positions of power and leadership, right, are not only servants to the people, but they're not superior to the people. They're not above the people. So if we were to take that same notion, right, and we were to say, listen, we need to understand how to love our wives, should we not also treat them with some sort of level of respect, just as we want respect? Should we not understand and take their position in consideration? Understanding that we are the final say, the final decision, the final authority, but we don't need to do that with an iron fist, do we? Do we need to do it with an iron fist, or do we need to entreat them and tell them, encourage them, motivate them, sometimes rebuke and reprove them, right? Based on what they're able to handle. What should we do? How should we operate with wives, with women? In which he encourages you, as in your position of patriarchy, to be cold, to be calloused in heart, not to love, not to consider her position, but to completely eliminate her and lessen her, right, to an incubator. And that's about it. That's what he feels women are only worthy of, is incubation. Ain't that a sad life to live for his so-called Ishas, you know, to have to be considered to be incubators only, you know what I mean? And their say and whatever they got to mine or whatever it may be is worthless and it doesn't mean anything. You know, you can't even be heard on a situation or a topic because you're too busy being forced into some sort of submission that a man who believes that himself to be a man, right, is enforcing an iron fist on you and enslaving you and empowering, literally confining you to a box that your worth is worthless. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, there's nothing wrong with you being a man who wants to be the man in your own home. There's nothing wrong with that. But how are you doing it? Are you doing it through love? Or are you doing it through an iron fist? You got to consider that, right? You got to consider that. So my thing is this, right? We got so many more different scriptures we can go over here. Leaders like Dowell weaponize the patriarchy, right? Because it's an easy tool to control men. It's an easy tool to control men. If the man sees his wife as the enemy, if he won't listen to her, right? If he won't listen to her, if the wife is silenced, it's easier to control the home through that man. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what it's all about: control. The leaders become the only voice, right, of so-called wisdom, of authority, not only in your home, but also in your internal life, your heart, your mind, as this rhetoric of submit, right, is echoing in chambers through your mind. You understand what I'm saying? Constantly, repeatedly, Do receive not an accusation of an elder, right? And he usually stops there. Then he slips up every now and then and says, what? Receive not an accusation of an elder unless out of the mouths of 2 or 3 witnesses. And then he has to go and say, look, well, where's the witnesses? And pretend as though he didn't know where they are. You understand what I'm saying? Pretending as though there are no witnesses, that nobody has a sin to place at his doorstep, right? Well, we know the sins of the father will be passed down to the 4th generations. Well, let's go ahead and do this, right? We're going to go and review a bit of a video here. And then in this particular live stream, let me tell you this, it was almost nearly 2 hours. Listen, listen, we nearly held their attention for 2 hours, right? We got the biscuit and we got the fat boy Ellis who's speaking, right? Nearly for 2 hours on a particular topic. I just want to cover a couple of points because my thing is this, right? I really don't have time to go over the whole thing. Let me just say this. This whole live stream, the reset, right? Enduring hardness is what it's titled as. It's over on the Biscuits channel. It's got 1.1K views, literally more than what he's used to getting in any lifespan, right? My thing is this, right? It's just them repeating the same shit over and over and over again. You understand what I'm saying? If you listen to this whole almost 2 hours, right? Hour and 40 minutes, they're literally saying the same thing over and over and over again. Oh, I got too much work to do on live streams. Don't you got too much work to do live streams? I got too much work to do live streams. Don't you got to? It's just the same rhetoric. It doesn't stop. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like a broken record for an hour and 40 minutes straight. My thing is this, right? That's the reason why he's the biscuit. And then you got, of course, Fat Boy Alice, who all are bored whenever they go to his channel. You understand what I'm saying? Anybody, all are bored, truly. You understand what I'm saying? Whenever they go to his channel, all are bored. So now we got him, right, who comes through.
May I present to you my spy in the Ministry of Defense?
He's still fat. Oh, I lost a lot of weight, bro. You're still fat. So either way, nothing's changed, okay? Nothing's changed. And they're just making excuses as to why Dowell shouldn't talk trash about him. Because, Dowell hates fat people. He loves to body shame every man in the ministry. Like, listen, that body shaming doesn't stop, okay? He even goes on to start to do physical. He loves men's physical features. He just loves it. He loves men's physical features. This is something about men's physical features that gets him so excited and riled up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and he be stuck on it. You know what I mean? I don't know why he can't look past it, but I got a couple thoughts, right? He kind of does, he doesn't mind the bulge, whatever. So I got a couple thoughts as to why he can't move past men's physical features, but it's just the leader that you guys like to follow, okay? Many of you guys who are still here. And since you are still here, don't forget to like this live stream, all right? Comment and subscribe and share it with those who need to hear this message. I promise you, because we're going to bring forth the truth, right? We need maximum effort, y'all.
Maximum effort.
Let's get maximum effort.
Maximum effort.
Of course, since you guys are hating on me and you're still here watching the show, welcome in. You're more than welcome to feel free to hate on me.
If there's any haters in here right now that don't have nobody to hate on, feel free to hate on me. Sit back there and say my hair ain't luxurious when you know it is, bitch.
Listen, we like to have a good time and we like to get into some scripture, but we also want to do this through humor to save more. So listen, laughter is the best cure. Is the best cure for pain, for suffering. You know that this is true. You know that this happens. Unfortunately, it does. But we don't need to doom and gloom about it. Let's have a good time. Let's enjoy our time in exploring the wickedness and uncovering the stones of unrighteousness. You understand what I'm saying? Let's enjoy that time. Shalom, shalom. All right, we're going to bring this thing home, y'all. We're going to bring this thing home before we land this plane. And it's just for the simple fact that we're going to drive the nail in the coffin even further when it comes to this patriarchy doctrine. You're going to close it out. Shout out to you all, right? Now, we got 1 Peter 3:7 here. And as you heard Pastor Rufus, listen, he added so much context into it as well. But we have to understand with this First Peter, if you dishonor your wife, Yah, the Father, says your prayers will be hindered. Your prayers is going to be hindered. They're not going to be heard. They're going to be held back. So that hardness of heart, that stony heart that you have towards your woman, towards your family, towards your role in their life and leading and guiding them, that stony heart, your prayers will be hindered. That means that you can shout shalom, you can hallelujah, thank you, Father. You can do all those things, right? And all will not get you into the kingdom. It will not get your prayers heard. You can do all of that stuff while you're here in this cult gathering. You understand what I'm saying? While you're jumping around, lifting up holy hands and singing along in those Straitway songs. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what you do. Those prayers still won't be heard because of that stony heart that you had, that callous heart that you've acquired, that you've adopted through this Dowell syndrome. Listen, you're going to adopt his same position, right? But heaven isn't going to listen to your wickedness, to your suffering of the children, to you holding up a child 6 feet in the air and dropping her on her head after shouting at her to shut up and spanking her bottom. And then you're not even her father. You're not even truthfully her authority, treating her in such a manner. If you're abusing your family, your prayers will be hindered. True patriarchy isn't about control. It's not about damaging and trauma and traumatizing your family. It's about covering, protecting, uplifting your family so they can flourish, they can thrive. Under your leadership, they have the vision, they have the ability to do so. It's about pivoting when things go wrong, but you being able to keep your cool and stay and keep a level head and figure out solutions instead of hearkening on the problems, right? And taking it out on your family and your loved ones. Listen, my thing is this, right? When it comes to a lot of these situations, we can go to Colossians 3:19. So we're going to go to Colossians 3:19 real quick, y'all. Colossians 3:19. Colossians 3:19 states, husbands, love your wives and be not bitter towards them, right? Of course, the children need to obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing to the Elohim. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they what? Be discouraged. In fact, we've seen a lot of this take place when Jermaine is treating the children in the ways that he's treating them. You got to understand, just because the children must obey and they must submit to the authority, it is up to you as the parents to not provoke these children into feeling feelings of self-deletion, into feeling feelings of anger, of disappointment. It is your job to not provoke them as well. We all stop when it's time for the children to obey and submit, but we don't want to go on even further to say that these parents, these fathers, these mothers need not to provoke the child into these sort of spirits, okay? We need to understand these things. As fathers, we need to know how to treat our children. We need to know how to treat our wives. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't know how to conduct ourselves appropriately, not like brute beasts and savage men who want to be, oh, patriarchy so bad. I'm going to be so rough and tough. And guess what? They're going to be fearful of my leadership, so much so they're going to do everything I say when I command it. And that is your goal because you're trying to impress and appease a cult leader, a man who doesn't even have the same authority in his own household. You understand what I'm saying? But he'll fail time after time to show and demonstrate true love of the family. You understand what I mean? His women, Dowell's women, don't respect him in the ways that you believe he does. They do. They don't. So while he's encouraging you to be a brute beast, a savage beast in your own home, so he can swoop in and separate you from your wife and take your children in, all this other stuff, right? So he can be able to swoop in and take control. And he'll use flatteries to do it. How much of a tactic is that? Somebody who's teaching you to be a brute beast, a savage beast in your home, to try to rule and control a woman with an iron fist. Guess what? My thing is this, right? He's the same man who's going to swoop in and destroy your home. pluck it up from the root, devour you. You understand what I'm saying? Let's go to Genesis 2:18. We got to understand the origins. Let's go ahead and go to Genesis 2:18. Genesis 2:18, y'all. Let's go. And the Elohim, Father Yah said, it is not good for that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. Okay? A helpmeet, not a servant. What part of this? I will make him a servant. No, I will make him a what? A helpmeet, a slave. It don't say slave. A helpmeet, meaning she's there to help you meet your needs. She's there to help meet the needs, wherever those needs are. If the family needs a different perspective, guess what she's there to do? Offer that perspective, because that's your partner. You understand what I'm saying? This right here, fit for him. You don't understand? Not beneath. She is fit. When you see a woman and you've picked that woman to join your family, she was fit for whatever reason. Now, if she was fit for your own flesh, right? Because you have vanity in the flesh, because you saw her, she was attractive to her, she looked good to you, so you wanted to lay with her, despite what's in her mind, what's in her brain, what's in her mental, how she can contribute to your household, her viewpoints, her political views, her spiritual views. You understand what I'm saying? How she would feed your children and your family. Listen, it is your fault that you picked her, right? And you saw her fit for the flesh and not for the spirit. You understand what I'm telling you? She was fit in some way. You chose that way. So you got to live with the choice. If you saw out a woman who's fit not only physically, but also spiritually, intellectually, all those things, she's hitting on all those cylinders. Guess what? A man who finds a wife finds a great thing, right? Because many women can hold a title of wife. Don't mean that they can actually fill the role properly. Don't mean that they're actually qualified for the position. It just means that they can hold the title, right? But if you're finding a woman who is fit for the role, holds the title well, represents the house well, listen, fit for you. She's not beneath you. That woman's not beneath you. The woman was created as a partner, as a helpmeet, not a slave, not a servant. You should be joyful when she takes on her role as a woman, right? And she's there to serve, and she's not giving you any sorrows in your days, right? Or it's very minimal. The things that she's doing, she's looking out for your best interest and your health and well-being. She's not looking to add stress or any pressure on you or anything like that. She's looking to be the proper what? Helpmeet, wife, whatever the role is. She's looking to be fit for you as the man, right? Represents, carries herself well, all these different things, right? But we don't want to get into conversation you being fit enough for that woman, meaning the love that you have for her, as though Christ loved the church, as we went through, right? Over in Ephesians 5:25, who sacrificed his very life, in which Pastor Rufus just touched on. Yeshua sacrificed himself. Well, how many of you men are sacrificing yourself for your family? Not just monetarily, because anybody can go and hit a 9-to-5. What are you doing to sacrifice so they can have better? So the future generations are provided for, so they'll have your time to pour into not only the little one, but also the woman as well. The woman's the first line teacher. Next step is you. You got to provide the level of security and focus. You understand what I'm saying? Discipline, order, all these different things, and doing it in love is what's key. It's not about doing it with anger and with fear, because fear didn't get you respected. It gets you feared. You understand what I'm saying? It gets you feared, not respected. Meaning behind your back, your woman, your children won't have very great things to say about you. But when you're ruling your household with love, she's got all of the admirations, all of the things, beautiful things to say about you. That's true respect. That's true honor. If a woman has to ask your wife, hey, how was it? And she can't answer the question right, then guess what? You're ineffective in your position as a leader in your home, right? We got to understand this. Tearing down the droves, tearing down the idols, This man is not the epitome of strength. You got to understand that Dowell's not the epitome of strength. He is not the model of patriarchy. Just because he speaks about it and speaks on it doesn't mean that he's truly about that life. You got to understand that right now. You're witnessing a weak man who's going to spew weakness out of his tongue because he can't control his own house. And he wishes for them to submit, right? So he talks about his own family. When he speaks about these certain things with women, guess what? He's not talking to you. He's talking to his own wives. You understand what I'm saying? He's just bringing it to your attention. He wants them to learn based on his sermons, the same way he targets other men privately, right? Without saying their names in open sermons. It's the same thing he's doing to his wives, and right, and literally manipulating them, their minds. He's targeting them openly without saying their names, but he's got plenty of bad shit to say about women, right? Because of his wives. He's getting sick of it, right? You got to understand that's what he's talking about, making an example out of them without saying their names. So you got to know that he's not the epitome of patriarchy. He's not a patriarch himself. He is the head, and there is a woman who turns that head, who is the neck. You understand what I'm telling you? Who turns the head? You know what I mean? So don't let them deceive you. Don't let them turn your heart callous and cold toward the woman who loves you, who should be your partner. You understand what I'm saying? Who's looking to build you up, build that house up. You know who you chose. You know if you chose her by the flesh, and you know if you chose her by the spirit. You understand what woman you got in your midst. You understand what I'm saying? Now it's up to you to do what? Either train her or do something different. You're going to probably have to find you a vestie. But it's not that cut and dry. You chose a woman by the flesh. Now you must teach her to be more spiritual. Eventually she might not get it, but eventually you might have to move on, just depending on if she's going to get with it or not. But you're doing it through love, not through anger. You're doing it through love. It might be frustrating. It's okay to be frustrated, but to be angry and to be ruling with an iron fist, that's not okay. At some point, something's got to give. But you chose her by the flesh. So you got to know the level of difficulty that you chose. Literally, you started a mission, a journey, and you put it on the highest difficulty level you can find by choosing a woman by flesh. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you chose her by spirit, then guess what? She's going to be sure she falls in line spiritually. And you got to know how to hearken and take a spiritual woman's position in consideration, right? But it takes older men, the hoary-headed men, to teach the younger men on how to deal with their wives, their women. In the black community, obviously, we're suffering from that. In the Hebrew Israelite community, listen, unless we start to structure ourselves better, we're suffering from that. Now, you can say this is systematic over the years, systematically designed to destroy our cultures of people, come from an intergovernmental system. And I will not sway away from that conversation. I also wouldn't speak contrary to it because it's true and it's still happening to this day. But it's up to us to redefine that and to change it. But men like me who's willing to speak on the problem, right? We are the type of men who will be assassinated, who will not be talked about in your school systems, who will not be glorified for being heroes. Instead, it'll be the ones like the Martin Luther Kings, the Sojourner Truths, the Rosa Parks that you'll be taught about, that will be glorified, because these are white people's heroes in regards to their structure that we were able to be sold into. No offense to my Caucasian family out there. Bless y'all. You know, love y'all who love me. But the truth is what the truth is about my culture and my community. The heroes for these individuals, individuals, okay? These Caucasian people, these white people who made them heroic. Martin Luther King was only heroic up to the time he started to become radical. Then he had to be assassinated. He had to be put down. The people they don't tell you about in these school systems, the Malcolm X's, the Huey P. Newtons, the Marcus Garveys, all of these people of the world, right? The Nat Turners, the true heroes of the community, the ones who actually got it. They're not going to teach you about them. They're not going to teach you about their belief systems, their viewpoints, how they were true, real leaders and heroes in our community. They're going to teach you about the ones who helped integrate us into a culture where we destroyed our very selves, where we imploded our very culture. You understand what I'm saying? From the inside out, we destroyed our own culture based on the ability to go down the block and purchase some white ice. We call it the white ice effect. We went down the block. Instead of buying it from their brother like they used to all these years, they bought it from their brother because it was segregated. Now the desegregation sold us back into their system. Now we're going down the block to buy the white ice because the white ice is smoother. It's the white ice effect. And it still affects us to this day. Black people don't have strong businesses, viable businesses that actually builds economies, that supplies jobs. We're not profound in taking over sections in this country any longer. You understand what I'm saying? Those days are over. We started that back in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when they bombed us, right? And they destroyed everything that we had, right? Completely reset us, at least for 10 years. Now we go back and we got drugs pumping through the communities, set us back another 20 years. You understand what I'm saying? This is a systematic destruction that we're looking at. Now we have problems with choosing a wife and a woman just based on the results that was made after all this destruction of the community and reintegrating us back into a system. And I'm not preaching segregation. I'm not telling you to be separate. I'm just telling you to think for a second. Think about what's going on truthfully. Stop thinking on the inside of the box and start looking on the outside. Start looking at your wife as somebody who's going to help you conquer earth, and stop looking at her like she's an enemy, especially if she's a strong Black woman. You understand what I'm saying? She's a strong Black melanated woman, understanding the culture, the history. Know that she is there to be your what? Biggest supporter. Because we already got the odds stacked against us. You understand what I'm saying? The intergovernmental system has already done their damage systemically, and that can be proven, backed with facts, proof, and evidence. I've already done the research. Decades of destruction within our own community. You understand what I'm telling you? And it's still going on to this day. Still going on to this day. But yet we want to form cults and tell the men, the melanated men, to treat their melanated woman, one of the most powerful things, a part of the family household as well, right? We need to treat her like she has no voice, like she's less than nothing. We need to degrade her, bring her down. The society that we know now already does that enough. It does it enough by promoting a Black woman with her physical features, and all she's worth is ass and titties. And that's all that she has value in. The society does it enough. In the moment we want to get holy, right? We bring her into more subjection, more being exploited even more as an incubation system, more not even a human being anymore. Think about the levels of destruction that comes in time after time after time, and how much these melanated women, these Black women, have to endure because us men, Black men, us melanated men, who's supposed to be one of the most powerful versions of men, right? Y'all excuse me. We supposed to be. No offense to nobody. But my thing is this, right? We're supposed to be taking control. We're supposed to be taking positions of leadership in our own homes. It starts there. Then our communities can be able to flourish and thrive. But we don't have enough strength. And this is the reason why our women continue to go through the same thing, the same having to witness the raping and pillaging of our community, as the men sit idly by and do absolutely nothing but complain about, oh, you still talking about that, rather than getting out here and actually doing it, putting in the work. They gotta sit by and look. I've had who've been instrumental in the exposure of Straitway, who've come up here and given their own personal testimony and threw themselves on the floor respectfully. You understand what I'm saying? Who have emailed elders, who have put their neck out there on the line. Listen, and guess what you men are doing? Absolutely nothing. You're being cowards instead of standing in the gap and holding door. It's disappointing, really. And then you get mad at a brother like me who's going to call you out on your shit. Then you get mad at me Then you start to be upset with me because I'm calling you out on your shit and your Dow syndrome and your Stockholm syndrome that you're exhibiting. Not seeing any real strength that we need in the community. I'll build you up in front of your woman all day long. I don't mind that, but be that example. I don't find any joy in tearing a man down in front of his wife and children, but be that example. Be a righteous example. So these are some of the things that we're gonna definitely say. Okay, we didn't hit the scriptures. We didn't hit what we needed, right? This is how these codes are controlling you. It's the same thing rehatched and repackaged. It was systematic from the world. You're witnessing the same tactics from the world that you see in this particular ministry, the same tactics, enslaving people willfully, right? You see, oh, you're doing it to the glory of Yah, but until you look up and you have nothing to show for it. I don't believe that the glory of Yah would leave you with nothing to show for your labor, for your hard work, and for your labor of love. It wouldn't leave you with nothing to show for it, right? What does it say? Seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High Yah, and all of these things will be added unto you according to his riches and glory. Well, where's the riches and glory for your people, the people in your ministry, Dow? Because the Most High promised them riches and glory. Where's their glory? It's not glory. You can't find any glory in generations that will be lacking everything. They will have nothing to be able to show for generations, nothing. They don't have any assets. Where is your people's riches and glory? Not the leadership. The leadership, riches and glory, yeah, it's been added on to y'all in abundance. I think that we've proven that time after time after time. But we're people, the people who sacrifice every day for you, give over their whole paychecks, who literally break their back, blood, sweat, and tears to build you mansions, to build ye homes. Those individuals, where's their riches? Where's their glory since they're seeking the kingdom? Since they're seeking the kingdom first, where is it? That's what I really want to know. I got a real valid question there. Where's their riches? Where's their glory since they're seeking the kingdom first? And it's going to be added onto them. Listen, I just want to tell y'all, my brothers, my sisters, listen, don't fall for the false doctrine. Don't fall for the false doctrine of the cult, patriarchy. This right here is what makes your love cold. It'll make you loveless. It'll make you heartless. You understand what I'm saying? That's not strength. That's not true strength. Not of a man, not of a righteous man. That's weakness dressed up in authority. You understand what I'm telling you? A real man, a biblical man, reflects Christ, reflects the Most High, reflects Yeshua. And Christ himself, Yeshua, didn't make his bride the enemy. He didn't make his bride less than. In fact, he even told you that the servants are no better than the master, no greater than the master. That as though that he is our master, he is still our equal, no matter what. And that he's not greater than us. If Yeshua, Jesus the Messiah, did not make himself greater than us, then why are you making yourself greater than your woman? Why are you allowing other individuals to make themselves greater than you? Why are you allowing Dow to intrude on your household and to kick open your door and control what you're doing on the inside of your home? Why is he making himself and putting himself in that seat when Yeshua himself didn't put himself in that seat to be better than you? But you got Dow who's put himself in the seat to be better than you, sitting above you, ruling your home, trying to make himself the authority over you and your children and your wife. No wonder why she don't respect you. You're constantly pandering and bowing down to Dow. That's the reason why. And then guess what you do? You get insulted. He tells you that you ain't shit. And then he tells your woman that he knows that she knows that you ain't shit. So he can influence her to want to leave your ain't shit ass. My thing is this, right? As we continue on in this mess, that's true weakness. There's nothing strong about that. If this message hits you, right? If this message hits you, then you know where you're at, and you know we need to change and where you need to get better. You understand what I'm saying? We're gonna land this plane here. Come on, y'all, share it up. Shout out to all my Caucasian brothers out there. Listen, we all got culture, and I don't mind you speaking up for your culture. And please don't be offended for me speaking up for mine. You understand what I'm saying? I mean no harm to you. Mean no offense either. But I know my culture, and I know it well. And I also know the other side of a man who's married to a white woman and how that can suppress his desire to want to stand in the gap for his people. You understand what I'm telling you? But you know what? That's not going to suppress me. It's just that simple. My thing is this, right? Let's leave in love. Let's leave in honor. Let's leave in charity. Every soul that's going to be set free from this live stream, hearing the truth today. Let's rejoice with the angels. Let's rejoice with the angels when every captive is being set free from this wicked ministry and every other cult-like ministry. You understand what I'm telling you? When every soul is being set free, we need to rejoice. We need to be happy. We need to come together in this, right? Especially when they come and they come correct. Especially when they come correct, right? But we also need to show them love and gratitude. Love is a part of rebuke, reprove, correction, hold them accountable. Accountability is love. You got to understand that. Without accountability, there's no growth. We're not going to dominate. We're going to walk together in unity and peace, just as Yeshua did with the disciples and the rest of the people amongst him. Listen, he didn't make himself greater. He made himself equal, made himself a servant in servitude. You understand what I'm telling you? That is the true mark of godly leadership. That's the true mark. You understand what I'm telling you? Now, we're going to go close this thing out, y'all. Man, all of the righteous alpha men out there, all of the righteous alpha men who support Yeshua, support this message and support Jesus the Messiah. Drop a ram in the chat for me, please, on the way out. And all of my elegant women who are exceptional under the Yeshua, under Jesus the Messiah. Drop a sheep in the chat for me, please. Listen, this is a beautiful live stream, man. I appreciate you guys joining me. We're going to go ahead and close this thing out. Bless you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Holler back at your boy in the next flock. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and shalom, shalom.